Good morning, 5 minutes after 6 o'clock. Good morning. Now, the papers are full of it. Chelsea doctor Eva Carneiro has reportedly lost a matchday role with the club. Following criticism from Jose, former Blues defender Jason Cundy gave his view on talkSPORT.
She has come on, you could argue, is doing her job, okay? Player goes down injured, he's got to be treated, okay? But if every time a player goes down injured, are you saying that someone from the medical team has got to come on? Because 3 o'clock kickoffs ain't going to end till half 6.
Story around today, Brian's your club. Chelsea team doctor Eva set to lose her place on the bench for the trip to Man City after criticism from manager Jose. She'll no longer attend matches or training sessions. I was unhappy with my medical staff. They were impulsive and naive, says Jose. Where do you sit? I know where I stand on this, but where do you stand?
Well, look, doctors have their own duty of care to patients, people who need treating, and this time they're players.
Yeah, well, I'm looking at the Mail, Brian, and it says, this is fans' view, Rory Jennings, Chelsea fans channel. I don't know Rory, but he says, this time Jose's got it embarrassingly wrong. Well, I don't know, right? I don't know. At the end of the day, you know, this is not a battlefield. She's not a medic. It's a football game. And I don't think you can just run on. I think, you know, you got to look at your manager, because he had to go off and back on, down to 9. And that, I think that's what's really angered Jose.
Well, that is what's angered him. But then he's not medically qualified, is he?
Well, he's not medical, but look, if he's holding his hamstring or an ankle, there's no need to rush on like that. I'm sorry. You make a good point. Concussion, yeah. A clash of heads, absolutely. Straight on, sort it. Or someone swallows a tongue, yeah. But if it's a normal football injury, then I can see where Josie's coming from. Well, let me ask this, or let me say this, and please do not even think of sexist here, but, you know, she's a pretty looking lady. If that was just a normal physio, would this be back page?
I don't know.
I doubt it very much.
I don't know.
I doubt it very much. Listen, my friend, real good friend of mine, he knows her as a husband or boyfriend, and gets tickets, said they're a lovely couple, you know. So listen, I'm not picking on this lady, absolutely not. But if Josie's saying, whoa, you got to use, by the way, it's not just her, he's give the physio a rollicking as well, hasn't he? He's give him a rollicking.
But my point remains, again, even about physios. What are they to do when players, you know, react as if everything that happens to them is extremely serious, and half the time it's not?
All right, but what happens if she's gone on without Jose's permission, and it's an ankle, or he's had a little kick in the shin, and while he's off, Swans get the winner?
Well, yeah, well, that's the point I think that Mourinho is making. Yeah. However, I don't think that applied in this case. So,
I just, what Josie says, they're naive running on like that, and they were down to 9. I accept that, me. I accept that. I'm sorry. Say that again. 6:20. Right, a late Pedro goal sees Barcelona beat Seville 5-4 after extra time in the European Super Cup final. Is that his last Barcelona goal? In the League Cup last night. We'll do that in a moment. Chelsea club doctor Eva Carneiro banned from first team duties after out with Jose at the weekend. The physio had a rollicking as well. Good morning, Tom Colamosi. Tom, very good morning.
Morning, Tom.
Good morning.
Tom, the story all over the papers today. She's in a bit of trouble with Jose. I think the physio got a rollicking as well, didn't he?
Yes, it looks that way, yeah. Mourinho was very angry about the treatment of Eden Hazard towards the end of that game against Swansea because he felt it left the team exposed. Reading the stories, it suggests that Mourinho wanted to make a few changes to the backroom team and the medical staff was a part of that. But if this is a direct result of the incident on Saturday, I think it sets a rather dangerous precedent because medical staff really, I think, should be judged only on their competence in the medical sphere. I'm not sure that you ask them to be football experts as well. So there's a bit to come out in the wash here, I imagine, about the exact decision. But if what happened on Saturday has had a big influence on it, I think that's a dangerous thing because doctors should be judged as doctors.
Yeah, but Tom, listen, and it's going to cause a lot of arguments here. But if this is a football injury, as in a challenge, if it's a head injury, Absolutely. You know, you've got to get to that player as quickly as possible, as people swallow tongues and stuff like that. If it's a normal football challenge and he's holding his shin or holding his knee, you can't run on thinking, you know, I need to operate on the pitch. You know, it's a football injury. The game's running out. They could be down to 9 men. There was no damage done. But if they'd have got the winner and 9 men down there, you know, I'm sorry, you have to think as well. I'm with Josie on this. I'm sorry, I don't care. I'm with Josie on this one.
Well, I have to agree to disagree. I think when you start asking people to do duties beyond what their duties actually are, you know, then you're in a dangerous place. I think you have to defer to the medical team when it comes to injuries and things like that. And if they...
So you tell me, if someone stubs his toe and suddenly he's hopping about, he's gone to shoot in a melee and he stubs his toe, the medical staff, if they feel, oh my God, boom, and they run on, the game's stopped, you know, give us a break. How many stoppages are we going to have here?
Totally agree.
What about the referee then? Is he not meant to call them on?
Yes, but I don't know, Alan. I think we obviously disagree on this. I just think that where does it end if manager can start judging a doctor by things other than their medical skill and expertise? It becomes a difficult one. I know it's not obviously as serious as a head injury, but I don't know. I'm just a bit uncomfortable with it myself.
Really? So, but even as well, if someone pulls a muscle, Tom, right? So, who was it at the weekend? I saw someone celebrate. It was in America, actually, but I think it was one of the Seattle players celebrating. He goes mad and suddenly falls to the ground. It's not funny, but he's pulled his hamstring. I don't know to what extent. You know, strange things happen in football, but he's not in any danger, is he? Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's an accident that's happened. You know, you can't have medical staff all sprinting on the pitch and disrupting the game. I'm sorry, and during the game, if someone falls over, maybe he's had a kick earlier on and just says, I need a bit of treatment here, this is too sore, and sits down. You can't have people just running on the pitch, surely. Good morning, 6 minutes past 7 o'clock. Good morning now. I'm all over the back page this morning. Mr. Paddy coming up. Chelsea doctor Eva Carneiro has reportedly lost her matchday role at the club following criticism from Josie.
My medical team left the team with 9 players. My doc and my physio, they went to the pitch for Hazard, and Hazard was not injured. Hazard was tired. I can read that because of my experience. They can't.
Meanwhile, Greg Dyke's worst nightmares.
talkSPORT.
7 minutes past 7 o'clock. Very interesting, I think, what Josie said there. Look, you know, you take sides on this, and I might be in a minority, but Hazard was not injured, he was tired, I could see that. And yet physio doctor ran on, Chelsea down to 9 players. The reaction, the boys have just shown me a video of Josie on the touchline, as behind him, 10 yards away, on comes the doctor, on comes the physio. He goes ballistic, Mike.
Yeah, he just got absolutely ballistic. And, you know, they say a picture speaks 1,000 words. Now, the interesting thing about this is, Al, that it's been done very well by all the papers this morning. The Mail's done it better than anybody, with a great headline, struck off, because, of course, that immediately gives you a medical connotation. Yeah, struck off, that's right. And then, already, even though this row is, you know, less than 24 hours old, people are taking sides on this, and it's a very, very interesting perspective. For instance, if we look at the Mail straight reporting on it, struck off, Chelsea's club doctor banned from the bench, Jose dumps her after row over Hazard, Jose Mourinho's row with Chelsea's club doctor, Eva Carneiro, hit a new low yesterday when she was banned from the bench and training sessions and even the team hotel. It's the word there, a new low. Right? Now, what does that mean? We'll get into the paper, and I'll tell you about that in a minute.
Well, they've had past previous.
Well, let me just tell you, if we go back into the paper, we've got a full 2 pages on it. Downfall of a trailblazer. Mourinho turns on club doctor who became a role model. And that, again, is a very interesting expression to use. Role model in the sense that, is she taking a bit of the limelight? And then we get back another page, still with the Mail, who've done this very well indeed. And you've got the Martin Samuel column. Martin's an award-winning columnist and journalist, and he points out something here. He says, perhaps, he's saying Mourinho is no sexist. That's the headline on his piece. He says the problem with the keenness of Chelsea's medical staff on Saturday was that a layman, Jose Mourinho, was proven right. And he goes on to say in this piece, which forms part of his column, which is published every Wednesday, he goes on to say, perhaps it's not the first time that she, the doctor, has overstretched her authority in Mourinho's eyes. And I think what Martin is saying there, guys, what I think he's saying there, Brian, is she showboating a little bit too much here in a role as a female doctor?
I think she's got her own Twitter site and all that as well. But look, apart from that, I'm not really interested in that. What I'm interested in, Chelsea were down to 10. They were hanging on. Brian was there. They weren't playing well. They were hanging on for a point. And then not just the doctor, the physio go flying on. And I had a bit of a row with Sandy earlier, but, that was just opinion. Jose clearly said Hazard was tired. He wasn't injured.
Yeah.
You have to understand football. And because of that, they were down to 9 men and no damage was done. They got the point. But Jose was furious. And I am with Jose Mourinho on this.
Yeah, well,
Chelsea, is this not just very clever by Mourinho? He's got this huge game at the weekend at the Etihad, which City are even money favourites to win. They didn't get off to a great start at the weekend, drawing to Swansea. They haven't been active in the transfer market. Is this just Jose taking the pressure off the team for a disappointing start and just deflecting the attention away?
Well, it may be. Having said that, if it is, choosing this subject where people's professional reputations are at stake, I don't think is a good one.
No, and I thought it was fascinating. The talkSPORT poll, there was at 91% coming out in favour.
Yeah, that'll change, Steve.
It should be 99%.
I don't really want... No. Jose is correct here. He's down to 10 players. He's trying to hold on to a point.
He's on the drift. They're no longer favourites for the title.
After one game, dear, oh dear. Give us a break, Steve-o. Peter, interesting one. I don't think it's a one-off, to be honest. Jose was very angry. Mourinho, really angry. They're hanging on. Down to 10 players. Hazard goes down and his staff, not just the doctor, but the physio rush on, and you could clearly see there's a great piece of Jose going mad, because in his words he said Hazard wasn't hurt, he was just tired. And because of the rules, Peter, he has to go off and we're down to 9 players. With time running out, we're clinging on to 1 point. I don't think it's a one-off, but I have sympathy for Jose here, and I don't think, and I hope he's not just picking out the doctor, but I understand where Jose's coming from.
Well, I'm afraid I don't really have a lot of sympathy for him. I thought it was appalling behaviour by the manager.
Why?
Here he has a player who's gone down, who has remained down, and the referee obviously considered it was serious enough to summon on the doctor and the physio, and they went on as they must do when there's summons on and the player is down, and as a result, the player had to come off the ground. I mean, what do you expect the doctor to do? Just say ignore the referee beckoning them on?
Well, I think I spoke to Sam Allardyce a moment ago, and Sam backed Jose up, saying, "Look, you talk to your medical staff as well. If it's serious, of course, a clash of heads or something that looks serious, then the result does not matter. But it's a football game." As I say, he's down to 10 men. He's watched it. He knew Hazard. There was nothing. It was fatigue rather than anything. And I think the staff just dived in quickly, ran on, and that's why he's so angry. He's clearly had a word with them before about this. This is not a first. And I just feel that every time someone goes down, Doc, and players go down so easy now that we'll have players and medical staff on and off over 90 minutes. For me, it's not necessary.
Well, that's a whole other issue, that players going down too easily and staying down. I mean, maybe he should be criticising his player for staying down rather than the medical staff. The medical staff were only responding to the referee's instruction to come on the ground and treat the player who was on the ground. And then to criticise the medical staff publicly the way he did was absolutely appalling behaviour. And the medical staff deserve a public apology, and I'm very disappointed that the club hasn't come out and done something to support them, really, because they were just doing their job. Our first priority as doctors and physios is the health and safety of the individual player, and that's what they were attending to, and they were doing their job, and they've been criticised very publicly for doing their job, and I think that's a very disappointing result.